Welcome to VMblog's continuing coverage of the VMworld 2020 Digital Edition. Today, I have the pleasure of having Andrew Parlette, who is the CTO of Tricerat. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, we've done these a few times in person, and this is our first time doing it over Zoom.
Right. Can you start by giving us a quick overview of the company?
Sure. Tricerat was founded in 1997 as a company really focused on providing a set of technologies to really help administrators in, at that time, terminal server, but now, VDI and EUC environments. And so we've really focused on the printing and scanning markets. And so over 20 plus years, we've really worked on making top-notch technologies through a virtual print driver and a suite of management tools to really help an administrator be very efficient in the way that they manage printing and scanning in their environment, and then ultimately delivering a better service to the end users when they're using these type of systems.
And so, Andrew, obviously we're here, it's digital. Like you said, we're on Zoom right now. So VMworld 2020 has moved online. What are your thoughts about these digital events that we're having in 2020 versus the traditional physical events we're so used to attending?
Yeah, it's tough. Certainly right now we're making the most of it. We're leveraging technologies that we have in place. Certainly, as we talk about the EUC platforms, but even, video conferencing and these kind of collaboration tools. So it's great that we have those things in place to leverage, while we tweak and figure out what the best way to do it, because now we're kind of forced into this situation. So, part of it is a lacking and wishing we were back, to what we would call normal, the face-to-face. There's a lot of value there. But at the same time, we are, in this situation. And so it's great that we can do it this way. And there's pros to this style as well, certainly being able to spread it out across the geography of the entire globe. To be able to bring more people in and access and have that kind of collaborative environment. So certainly looking forward, hopefully we can take some of the advantages to this style of doing it and then combine them with, back to in-person and more traditional styles of conferences. But it's certainly good that we're able to still leverage these technologies and meet face-to-face like we're doing now.
Right. And obviously with what's going on in the world, there's been a big shift to work from home. What are your thoughts on this, and how has it changed your company and how you work internally and externally?
Yeah, we're a company that I think probably a lot of people have a similar story of, we had technology in place, we had work from home. So it wasn't a major, it wasn't a 180 shift. We had those things in place, but certainly the way it happened and the fact that now all of a sudden everybody's 100% remote certainly changed a lot of things. So while we had those things, we use Microsoft Teams. We had EUC technologies already in place for remote desktops, so we were able to use those things. But there was certainly still a period of time that we had to adapt to that new model. And a lot of it was just a personal thing. There was pressures on us individually or our families, and that all kind of worked into corporate. Certainly I remember when the lockdown just started in our state, we had a virtual all hands meeting that was really not so much about work, but just, hey, share stories. How's it going? How's it working for you? Some of that might've been how I'm adapting to work from home, but just, kind of reconnecting at that personal level. And now it's been going on, and I think we've kind of hit that groove. And certainly from the business perspective, really being able to still work, with my colleagues over video conferencing or online chat portals and that sort of thing. And just like with the digital conference, there's some advantages even to our partnerships and working with some of our other partners, much more engaged than maybe we might have been before. Sometimes it might have just been a phone call. Well, now there's more digital communication, there's, video. And so, again, there are some things that kind of percolate up as, well, this isn't like it was before, but in this new style, there are some perks that come out of it. So again, making the most of the situation while we have to, and until we can kind of to get back to the way it was.
And since we're here kind of, talking about VMworld, can you talk a little bit about how your company partners or works with VMware?
Yeah, well, we've talked about the EUC space, and so that's where we've been for 20 plus years, really looking at desktop and application delivery across everything. And so a big focus for us is VDI, but if you're looking at, be it terminal server, desktop, published apps, physical desktops and laptops, and managing even Windows sessions on there, because pretty much everything, we'll talk about hybrid in terms of cloud and on-prem, but there's also hybrid of, a virtual or local app. And so all of these things are kind of merging together. Well, there's a lot of complexity there. And so over the years, really the idea is as these different things have grown, and I use some technologies here and some technologies here in these different platforms, pulling them all together in an effective way that's easy for the user and then also manageable for the administrator is a challenge in so many areas. And so we focused on, the printing and scanning, which traditionally has been a real, pain point. It doesn't get thought about very often up front, but then all of a sudden, I don't have access to the right printer at the right time, or I have too many printers and I don't know how to find the right one. And so being able to really simplify that and making that workplace, that desktop work environment more effective is certainly a push for us. So with VMware, we are alliance partners with them. And so, they've been a foundational platform for all this time, but certainly with Horizon and in the space of managing Windows desktops, within that VMware sphere is really our focus. And so looking at like a VMworld, the tracks that they've really over the last few years really gotten more and more invested in really looking at those kind of, making those platforms better and more effective is right where we fit in. And so we like to see those sessions, and then certainly, informing people of how, our software can help adapt and really enable that as well.
And you've kind of talked a little bit about your company's technology, but I was wondering if you could give us more of a breakdown of exactly what your technology offerings are and what makes you unique in the marketplace.
Sure. Yeah. So, I've kind of talked about the 2 points of a user and an admin, and we look at both of those. Both are very important. And so, and I can't really even elevate one over the other. Both are part of that offering. And so we've mentioned printing and scanning are the two real main areas that we focused on. And even when I say that, there's such a wide variety of what that means. Is it a local printer connected to my laptop here? Is it a corporate scanner down the hall? Now in this environment, my home printer still needing perhaps to make print jobs back to the office. They could be print server printers. They can be serverless without a print server. Mobility comes into play now. So all of these different things, again, we have so many options, but then that creates complexity. And so just like we were talking about with simplifying management in the different platforms and hybrid environments, we're also looking to bring together all these different types of printing and make it ways that we can distribute that. So what's that look like? Administrators, what we're providing is an easy to use tool to see the printers in the environment, so we can quickly, we layer onto that environment and can scan and get printers from print servers, printers that are out on the network. All of that comes into our management console. Then we can also see Active Directory users. We can see groups. We can see, organizations in the directory. We can see computers, which might be like clients that you're connecting from, network subnets. So all of these things are ways now that administrators can assign printers logically out to their users. So we talk a lot, efficiency comes up a lot here. Can you, script these things out or find ways? Yeah, there are, but it takes so much time. And so what we're looking at is a way that just becomes simple and easy. A hospital can roll out a whole new wing with thousands of clients and printers. within minutes in the console, and then have a user walk up and have the right thing there quickly and easily. So that efficiency for the administrator of taking those pain points away, making that quick and easy, and then getting on to your other tasks is really a big focus for us. So that's the administrator side. What we'd look at from the user, which I kind of hinted at, was how can the service be better? I've got cloud desktops and local desktops and applications coming from wherever. I just want this easy. I just want to open it up, find the right printer, which is the one closest to me on the network I'm at, or in the environment I am, be able to quickly find it. I don't want to have to call the help desk. Let's reduce those calls. And so if we can simplify the printing process, again, for productivity, that's better for me, less hassle, and so it just makes my job more effective. And so that's really what we're looking at from the user, and enabling the user, giving them self-service of printing, making that work simply and easily.
And I'm a visual guy. Is there any way, all the stuff you just talked about, is there a way you can give us a quick demo and show us what the product looks like?
Absolutely. Let me share my screen here, and we'll take a quick look at the interfaces. All right, so this is ScrewDrivers Administration, and this is our version 7 interface. So we'll talk a little bit about this new version, but for people that have seen us before, this is a new look to our management interface. And what we looked at was, over the years, I talked about being in this field for over 20 years, and the different types of printing. So we had client printing, print server printing, direct IP printing, all these things. They kind of got tacked on over the years as what is normally done in software. And so we took what our customers really responded to. We get so much feedback about how easy that management console is, a drag and drop interface to assign printers. So we really leveraged that simplicity that we've had for all these years, but we really looked at re-architecting and revisualizing this for all these different types of printings. And to talk about how Tricerat is unique in the environment, or in the space, we can manage all these different print types. So many environments have print servers. That's easy. We can layer on top of that and take advantage of your existing servers in a much more effective way. But let's say you have also a remote office that doesn't have a print server at it, or you want to keep the print traffic local on that LAN instead of going back and forth over the WAN. So you can manage both existing print servers and new environments that you want to do direct IP printing without a server. You can combine that very easily here in this interface. And so this new administration view really takes our, all of that simplicity that we had before, and really enhances it even further to really provide the full set of printing uses to administrators. Let's take a real quick look through here. Over here on the left where we start, we see, in fact, print servers. I've pulled one print server in. I just point it to the IP address of that print server that has our agent on it. In this case, I've pulled in 3 different printers that it just runs a query and shows up within the database that's behind this management interface. I can also click on Manage Printers here, and in this case, I have a network printer. I imported the driver into this database, and I have everything I need now to assign and for a user to build this printer without a print server, and with print jobs going direct to that network printer. Here in the middle column is where we make the assignments for these printers. So I'm on the Active Directory tab right here, so you can see my directory. I see containers, OUs, groups, basically everything within that you'd expect to see within the directory, and I can assign all of that out. I can also go over to the Network tab where I can define IP address ranges. And then we can certainly add in here new computers or network ranges. I mentioned before about clients. Let's talk about like a quick use case of a hospital that maybe has thin clients that are connecting into a VDI environment in the data center. what we do a lot of times is hospitals already have, you know, a thin client with a printer, a network printer sitting there in the room. Well, what we can do is we can just put the name of the client in there, and then no matter who it is that walks up to that terminal and, you know, maybe scans their badge to log in. If I actually, let me go ahead and do this. So if I add a new computer and call it terminal 123. And then to add let's say the brother is sitting right next to that terminal, I drag and drop, say, always show this printer. Basically, we have an option to let the user have control over it or just make an administrative assignment. I add that printer in there. It shows up. And now anybody walking up, you know, one of a number of doctors or nurses or techs or whatever it might be, has that printer right there. And so even though, you know, they're jumping around the floor, they're still connecting back into that one VDI session, but every time they reconnect to their session, now the printer that is right next to that terminal shows up, they hit print, it comes out in the right place. It's the right printer at the right time for that user. And it just makes it easy for them. They don't have to go through the list of every printer on the floor. So, you know, this is a great example of, for the administrator, you know, a couple clicks, I've now made that assignment to that terminal. And for a user, they walk up and it works the way they want. Now, obviously, this is a really small case. I added one where a hospital might have thousands, but this is an interface that's very adaptable and quick and easy. And then we can also it's database driven on the back end. So we have import mechanisms where we can, you know, scan a CSV or other automation methods to really just batch pull a lot of desktops and printers in all at once. That's the real quick view of the administrator side. We do have a user-facing side, which we call ScrewDrivers printers. It's something that they can launch on their desktop, see the printers they have. There's an add printer button if the administrator has made available printers for them to see on the network. And we even have this maps function. So, okay, here's my small office. Oh, I needed this printer in the break room. I come in, I click add. I already had that one in. You know, I can add or remove a printer that's already there, or I'm sorry, add a printer that I don't have in my queue yet, or remove one that the administrator said that I have the ability to add or remove, and it builds in my session right away. We haven't really talked about that virtual driver, but we take care of everything about the driver management. So from the user perspective, I come into this map, I click add, the printer will show up on my desktop. The admin doesn't need to preload drivers on the VDI, doesn't need to take care of it, doesn't need to do any of those hassles. It has everything. And so from the administrator, I didn't have to deploy a driver. It's here. It's ready to go for the user. From the user perspective, I click on it. It builds in the background. It's ready to go. My logins are fast. Building printers on the fly are fast. It really is a much more effective way to do this kind of print management. So that's pretty much the quick overview. Obviously, there's a lot to dig into with, you know, configuration around print servers or direct IP printers, mobile printing. We can print to iOS and Android, all of those things. But I leave it here for this particular chat. And certainly, if you want to find more on our website, or we can go into more technical overview from videos that we have on Tricerat.com.
And Andrew, normally around this time, this is a time where at VMworld, a lot of companies announce new products and or updates to their products. Does Tricerat have any recent announcements or product updates?
Yeah, so this is a big year for us. You know, even with all the shifting that's happening. We've been working actually for years on that version 7, and so that's what I just gave a little peek to as far as the new interfaces. But that's the latest version of our best-in-class print virtualization and scan virtualization products. And like I talked about in that demonstration, really one of the goals, and there's a lot of new features embedded in there too, but really what we're looking at is just taking all of the different print methods that we've developed over the years and bringing them into this cohesive package. Part of it was a rebranding. So we really centered around that ScrewDrivers name that our customers know and love for all these years. and made it an easy tiering from ScrewDrivers Essentials for just that direct, just the virtual client for client-based printing, adding in ScrewDrivers Pro and up to ScrewDrivers Enterprise, which adds in everything, including like mobile, reporting, service-based queues, a whole bunch of really advanced things within that package. But we really just streamlined, what the full solution is, because again, we're looking to make this easy. The point is that it becomes a real hassle for admins, and so we really just want to layer on top. It is complex. There are so many things out there in terms of platforms and connectivity methods and all that, but let's layer onto the environment and be straightforward and easy. So version 7, a lot to dig into there. We're very excited about it. It was released last month, so very, hot off the presses type of a release for us. And it's rolling out to a lot of our environments, and we're very excited about it. Certainly, we're in the latter half of the year, but still more things coming. We're about to release an update for printer profiles for those direct IP network printers, which again is a huge step forward for easy management for a single printer, being able to apply different settings to different groups, and even give, if the administrator wants to give more control to the user, there's that option. You have that choice. So that pause and release printing is coming in there. So we really have a long list of exciting feature updates, both released and coming up here in the very near future.
And Andrew, I want to wrap things up kind of where we started, which is talking about trade shows. And not that you have a crystal ball and we have no idea what normalcy is going to look like in 2021, but do you think trade shows will come back, the physical trade shows that we all know and love? Do you think they'll come back next year?
Yeah,
and if
certainly
so, are you guys going to be ready to sponsor such an event?
Yeah, I think so. I'm certainly optimistic in my outlook. I mean, the longer this thing kind of goes on, there's clear challenges that need to be addressed, and certainly, the obvious answer is what governments allow and not, and following restrictions and the guidance. But I'm hopeful. I am. I think, certainly from Tricerat's perspective, as those things become safe and effective to do, we're looking forward to it. And so, one of the things I mentioned is there's pros and cons to where we are now, and hopefully we can still leverage the advantages of some of these, virtual platforms. Hopefully there are more of those through the year, even when we're able to travel and see. But I really am hopeful for a combination where we can, see people in the same room, really feel more of the excitement, and having those off the cuff chats with other experts and other people passionate about this kind of work. There's a lot of value there, so I'm hopeful for return to some travel in 2021, and we'll see. Like you said, there's no crystal ball. We'll have to by ear, but it's all about adapting and taking a look at what's going on and making those choices.
Great. And Andrew, I want to thank you for joining VMblog on this VMworld coverage. Where can folks go if they want to find out more about Tricerat?
Yeah, Tricerat.com. So that's TRICERAT.com. And so on there is information. There's videos. There's blogs, that type of thing. And there's an easy button on there just to connect with us. Set up a demonstration with one of our engineers, and we can have that talk. Hey, what's in your environment? What are you struggling with? Here's how this would apply. And usually, that's a half-hour thing where we can talk and show how it's applicable to you. And, we work on making it easy. You can download a trial, you can do a call with us or do it on your own. Within an hour, you can have, this up and running, and you can see the advantages very quickly running in your own environment. So, yeah, I'd go to that website and reach out to us, and we can connect and talk about it.
Great. Well, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right. We appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more from our cloud technology partners, please hit the like button and subscribe. And if you want to get notified next time we post a video, please hit the subscribe and the bell notification. Very important.